Yesterday I made my mom watch Lion King 2 with me, and I had to admit to her that I used to have a crush on Kovu. Imagine telling your mom that as a lesbian. Very embarrassing. This is another just unscripted little thing. I'm filming on my iPad. It's an old one, so it doesn't look great. I just watched Drew Monson's video about him dealing with the grief of his grandma. I haven't watched Drew Monson in a really long time. This past few weeks have been pretty rough, dude. I know it's a lot of people's first time seeing me, especially in an actual video, but I just recently went through a pretty rough breakup. Not rough as in, like, we hate each other, but I didn't realize how bad I was becoming in relationships. And I did get a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, and I'm in therapy. I'm on medication now for the first time, and I don't even know how long, and steadily taking them for the first time in forever. I always tend to quit because I used to be diagnosed as bipolar. So anyway, my last video I posted on here was filmed, I want to say, either the day after or a couple days after one of my very close friends passed. And his Drew's video just had me thinking about, he said something specifically about needing to feel sadness or else it turns into irritability or anger towards something else. And that, like, really that really meant something. As I go through this process more and more of, therapy and trying to understand why I am the way I am, that's one of the main emotions I tend to push down is sadness, because I've dealt with depression for so long that I just, you kind of get addicted to just being in this bubble of sadness and loathing and despair. It gets really comfortable. It gets comfortable to the point to where, anytime you do feel a tinge of happiness or like something good happens, at least the first thing that comes to my mind is, I don't know how long this happiness is gonna last, and so it makes me, it tends to make me self-sabotage. I notice things going well, and then either consciously or subconsciously I try to fix something that's not wrong to the point that I make things wrong, and I make problems for myself. The rage that comes with this disorder is so all-encompassing. So anyway, the point to me saying that is when my friend died, it was presumed liver failure. And I remember that day that I found out, I got asked to go to the store and get beer for my dad. I already had to go to the store, so I, no big deal. And then I get in there, I go talk to the I say hi to the shopkeeper. I love the shopkeepers here. I get my vapes from them. And I go to the back and I grab a case of beer, and I just felt this overwhelming urge to just throw it on the ground and knock over all of the beer coolers, smash any bottles of wine they had, because I was so angry. So angry that something that is so ingrained into society and socialization and, just relaxation took one of the greatest people I've ever met. And I think that's the very first time that I actually realized that rage doesn't just come strictly from me being a bad, angry person. I saw a quote, and I have it written on my wall now. And it says, no one knows how much violence it takes to become this gentle. And I think it's also true in the opposite of that. When you're so gentle to the things around you and the people around you, and you yourself are gentle, it's very easy to wonder why something so fucking horrible could happen. And at that point it turns into, I don't know if I want to say rage, or turns into wanting to get vengeance for whoever or whatever was hurt. And I think that's why my diagnosis took so long for me to actually go and talk to someone about. Is I don't have the borderline where I do something wrong and I take it out on other people. I have the type where something wrong happens and I completely shut down. It's all my fault. I'm stupid. How could I ever do anything right? How could anyone love me? How do I deserve to call myself a human? If every emotion I have just results in anger. And about 20 times a day I use the phrase, I just want it all to go away. I don't want these thoughts. I don't want these paranoid thoughts that if someone looks at me wrong, it means that they hate me, or if I'm walking down the street and someone has their hand in their pocket and they're walking a little too close, I think that they're gonna kill me, or and it doesn't help that I do have PTSD from an SA situation, and I think that hypervigilance also causes me to just be angry. I feel like I have to live through life constantly looking behind my back, and when you spend so long looking behind your own back, you tend to miss the people in front of you that are trying to get you to look at them, and then you do things like isolate yourself for years at a time while promising people that you'll see them, and then one day one of them dies. I had whenever I was in Oklahoma for a little bit, I had a friend named Eddie, and he was my first introduction into really personal, close grief. I've lost family members and stuff, but luckily I estranged myself Eddie, I was a manager at a little place called Wingstop. And during our orientation for this store, because it was a brand new one, me and him butted heads like brothers and sisters from the moment I laid my eyes on him, because I was already in training to be a shift lead and become a manager, and he had just lost his job on an oil rig and was trying to start his life over. So he came in there with the plan. What I like to say is he was gonna be running multiple wing stops by the time he left that place. And this is the first time my rage truly made me just disgusted with myself. There was a night, I was what they call the pilot. I'm the one that was supposed to put all the bags together and make sure everything had what it needed, made sure it had all the sauces, made sure it had the right name, made sure it went on the right rack. All night he was getting confused, and I need to tell you that this kid was the fastest learner I'd ever met. He fully, it didn't matter that it was just a fucking stupid chicken place job. He took everything he did very seriously, very professionally, and he was truly one of the greatest persons I ever had the honor of working with. But that night, I noticed how much he was messing up, and I, 80, what's going on? Why are you screwing up so much? Like, why are you effing up so much? Like, what the F is wrong? Just not that calm. I was yelling, and he just didn't say anything. Just kept going, and I didn't say anything else. And then later that night when we were closing, did the fryers, and we started talking about Karate Kid, like the old one, the 80s version. And he asked me if I had heard of Cobra Kai. And I was like, no, I haven't heard of that. He said, well, it's really cheesy, but it's gotten me through a lot, and I want you to start it tonight, and then whenever we work tomorrow, when I come in tomorrow, I want you to tell me if you love it or if you hated it. The kitchen manager at the time waited until the end of the shift. He already got the word, because it had happened the night before. Well, first of all, I knew something was wrong whenever he asked us not to check our phones for the shift. He said it was some kind of training thing he was trying to do, but there was something up. So we close. We're cleaning the kitchen, and I hear the worst words I probably have ever heard in my life. And that was, Eddie went home last night and locked himself in the bathroom. And then he did what he did. And it wasn't until about a year later, I want to add that it took me a long time to watch Cobra Kai, because I didn't watch it that night. I went home and fell asleep. But I planned on telling him the next day that I was going to start it that night, because we had the day off the next day. God. Anyway, a good 6 months, 8 months, a year later, I don't fucking remember, I finally watched Cobra Kai. And it wasn't until I started thinking about his last words to me that I knew what he was he had already planned on doing that night while he was talking to me before he even went into work. He already knew. And he wanted anyway, I realized that he knew that he was gonna do that, and he wanted to tell me of something that got him through hard times so that he could help me while he was gone. And I hate the show. I think it's cheesy, and I love that they have the actors from the original trilogy, but I think it's cheesy. And that night when I watched it, I remember just, Eddie, why the hell would you tell me to watch this? This is so stupid. It's because he wanted to give me something to hold on to, I think. And I loved him. I loved that kid. And grief with borderline is hard, especially whenever you already have abandonment issues, and just people leaving your life alone feels like a death. But an actual one, it's almost unbearable. It's almost unbearable. It makes it hard to focus on what you're supposed to be doing to get by and just provide for yourself, because there's just this cloud hanging over everything, and you never know when you're gonna lose someone or yourself, and it makes it hard to just live a mundane life and think that everything's okay, One thing I've noticed since getting this diagnosis and going to therapy is I've gotten a lot better about recognizing whenever I'm actually angry and upset and mad about something, and whenever I'm angry because I'm holding something back that I need to be feeling. And that's another scary part, is my feelings fucking terrify me. And whenever I was 17 years old, I had my very first borderline blackout. And now I know that's what it was, but at the time I wasn't diagnosed. I knocked over everything in my room. I broke glass. I went to the bathroom and sliced myself. And then I came back in my room and I swallowed a handful of Tylenol PM, and I wasn't even conscious. During it, I was luckily I never lost consciousness, but I was blacked out. I didn't even realize I was doing it until my dad came in, and I made myself go throw up. But it's knowing that if I feel these things too intently, I'm so scared of what I could subconsciously do to myself, because I don't want to hurt myself. I'm not suicidal. I have a lot of suicidal ideation, a lot of, it'd just be fucking easier if I could just go away and not have to feel this stuff anymore, but I don't want that. I want to feel things, because I think feeling things and experiencing things, and it's a really pretty goddamn unique opportunity we get when you think about all the possible, ways the planet could have ended up or evolved, or it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to be able to be alive and experience things. I just experienced them way, way harder than a lot of people. And like I said in my last video, I don't even really know why I'm making these. There's a lot of grief happening. There's grief of my relationship, there's grief for my friend, there's grief for who I thought I was before my diagnosis, there's grief for all of my bridges I've burned, there's grief for my jobs and career paths that I've ruined because of how I am as a person and how I waited so long for treatment. And I regret it a lot. And it's not like I didn't try to get treatment. You know, I've been in and out of psychiatrists and counselors and psychotherapists since I was 13. I still believe that my biggest problem is I had a general practitioner diagnose me with borderline at the age of 13 just because my dad had it. Did I say borderline? I meant bipolar. I got diagnosed with bipolar at 13 because of my GP. And maybe I still do. Maybe it's a mix of both. All I know is this rage and anger and irritability and need for control and the immense amount of pain and loss I feel when people leave my life is not bipolar. I've known for a while that it was borderline. I've been doing research. Like, again, I was just scared of it being it because my first thought was I'm never gonna have a fucking genuine relationship with anyone ever. And if you're thinking that, if you're watching this and you just got diagnosed with borderline, I just want you to know that tomorrow is actually my 4th therapist appointment. I am so fucking proud of myself and the progress I have made just alone in recognizing the patterns of my behavior, and just alone just telling someone that I have these problems in the first place. Because I can have a happy relationship again one day. I can get to a point where other people's comments don't fracture my self-worth, and I don't rely on them for my own personal satisfaction. That's another big thing, is my self-esteem. It completely and totally just relies on the people around me, and that's so not a good thing. And I've been trying to get better about, you know, being proactive about sounds stupid. I don't care if it sounds stupid. If you're going through something similar, do this. I make it a point every day to say out loud that I love myself and I deserve to get better. I don't just need to get better for the people around me, but I deserve to get better because I deserve to have a healthy relationship with myself and not have my self-worth rely on other people. I deserve that. This body has gotten me through 10 years of bulimia, 10 years of self-harm, 3 suicidal attempts. I deserve to give this body back. I deserve to give this body back as much armor as it has given me. I deserve to protect it. I deserve to not be in survival mode. You deserve to not be in survival mode too. You deserve to help yourself because you deserve the help you need. And don't do it for other people. That's the wrong approach. You can't approach treatment for the well-being of other people. You've got to want it for yourself, or else it's just not gonna stick. You and us, we deserve to get stronger. We're going to get stronger. And the first step is realizing that you are already strong enough just by reaching out. This has been a 30-minute video so far. I don't know if I'm even gonna edit it. I really don't know what else to say. Take care of yourselves. If you have someone in your life that you haven't seen in a while because you've been isolating yourself, just give them a call, give them a text, tell them how much you love them. Because I've been promising my friend for a year that I was going to go see him, and I just never did. And that's a mistake I'm never going to make again. Your life, your body, and your relationships are more important than anything in the world. I know money's really important. If you don't have it, you're broke, and you're homeless, blah, blah, blah. There is nothing in this world, for me, right now, that is more important than having and expressing my appreciation for human connection. Because I have forced human connection away for so long. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go now before I keep crying. People get pissed off when people cry on the internet, but you know what? Fuck it. This is real life. People fucking cry. You know. I'm not gonna edit this shit down and make it fucking digestible, because there's nothing digestible about borderline, and there is nothing digestible about death. Surprise! They both fucking suck, and they both cause emotions. If you need to cry today, bitch, you go cry. If you need to cry in the middle of your front yard while it's pouring fucking rain and there's people having a party across the street from you, bitch, you cry. If anyone stayed for this long, I appreciate you. I'm sorry, I keep looking over here because I'm on my iPad. Usually my iPhone, I have it tilted the other way, and it's take care of yourself. Sorry this was so long and weird and just rambly, but shit, maybe my channel will just be a bunch of vent sessions about borderline. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. Take care of yourself, drink water, eat food, give yourself some patience. I will see y'all hopefully soon.